Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Apron Bumps Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the Braster, Braden Mayhew, along with my wonderful co-hosts. We are finally back. The Trinity has come together. We've got Mr. Gabe Nozid back for the first time since the beginning of June, as well as Mr. Brandon Moyes, first time since Takeover in your house at the beginning of June. Nearly almost 3 months, guys, since we've done this. Can you believe it's been that long? Good 2.5 months since the last time we've been doing this here show.
It's been like a long 2 months for me, but it hasn't felt like more than like a week since I last got on this show. Yeah, so it's good to be back, guys.
Time flies.
It definitely does.
It does.
It definitely does. And especially in your case, Gabe, you've been busy with the training and the this and the that and everything that probably came with going to what you have been doing the last few months. And I find like the more busy you are, like time can generally go by fast when not a lot of stuff's going on, but when a lot of stuff is going on, it just seems to chew by.
Braden, those 2 months were the slowest 2 months of my life.
Really?
Right? So it was like every day I was doing something, and it was painstakingly long at my military training. Like there's a lot of cleaning, a lot of marching and all that stuff.
They're getting you ready to become Iron Man, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still training up to be Iron Man, but this time with my specific job. But all that physical training and what else? All that discipline, all paid off. To be honest, right now I'm basically they call it tech school in the Air Force, which is like college. So
wow,
that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm doing that for 2 months, and then I'll be back home.
What happens when you get sent back home?
So for my Air Force, I'm not active like the usual military person. I'm the guard, meaning I'm the military. I'm a military member of that state. So in my state of Maryland, I'm basically the state's like military like member there, or part of the Air Force in that state. So and only for that state, unless I choose to relocate to another like base that also has a guard. So. Yep, I'm just gonna do some training for my job, and then I'll be back home. And but to be honest, on these episodes, it's gonna feel like I haven't left at all, other than those 2 months. So
yeah,
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
How jacked are you now?
How jacked?
Well, don't they put you through don't you have to go through a lot of cardio training and weight training?
Yes, cardio training. They make us run almost every day.
Holy jeez.
Yeah. The only time we didn't do training, physical training, was Sunday, and even then we still had to do chores and all that. It was a lot of cleaning. Like there was so much cleaning, and it was a mess. You had no freedom whatsoever. Even when you eat, they're always shouting at you to eat fast or whatever. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, you have no peace other than going to sleep, and it's just really awkward because when you try to sleep, you just sleep when you feel tired. When you're told to go to sleep, that's just weird. So I would be in bed for a good hour or so, just trying to get myself tired, even though I've done so much during the day. Yeah, but how jacked am I? I'm pretty toned, I'd like to say, but I'm not like John Cena or whatever. So I'm like
nobody wants to be that big.
No, I'm trying to get my way to Finn Balor because that's the body
Finn Balor. Finn Balor's got a good physique.
He has a good body, man, and I'm getting there. Not gonna lie. The only thing I'm worried about is my pecs. Those are not growing as much as my other my abs are fine.
Hard.
My abs are great. My thighs are great. My arms are great, but the pecs is something I haven't been working on because they haven't really had a lot of pectoral exercises. They really focus on arms and legs and core in the Air Force. So
I think it's mainly because those are limbs you're going to be using a lot, so it's
yes, sir, it is.
Whereas like pec is like vanity style.
It is vanity.
Training.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got big muscular fucking chest. It's like but yeah. Speaking of which, I've been doing my own exercise regime. I've been on it for about 4 months now, and it's coming along, and. I don't notice as much of a big physical awesome toning job yet because it's only been 4 months, but physically I feel the endurance is better, and
That's good.
my mobility is better, and all that sort of stuff. So visually, for the vanity's sake, I'm not seeing much, but physically, I'm feeling all the benefits, which is more important than, in my opinion,
Yes,
the vanity
sir,
stuff anyway. So, and speaking of Balor and bodies and all that sort of stuff, because, it's wrestlers, and, most of them are in pretty good shape. We are here to predict NXT Takeover 30, which is taking place tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And it's a decent little card we got here. One match less than the last two Takeover shows. It's got 5 main card, but 1 on the pre-show, which is weird that they're doing a pre-show. Very rarely does NXT ever have like a pre-show match, but this show definitely does have one, and we might as well touch upon it right now because I will probably tune in to test out my Fire Stick stream, so that'll be when these guys are doing their thing. And it's Breezango, the team of Fandango and Tyler Breeze, back at it again in NXT, taking on Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and the new heel faction of Legado del Fantasma, which is the team of Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. They're Santos Escobar's bad guy cronies, essentially. They're helping him win matches and stuff like that. So these 3 are battling in a number 1 contenders triple threat tag team match, and the winners will get a shot at Imperium sometime after this show. So as far as who's going to win this, I'm thinking maybe Breezango, but they already had a shot on TV like a month or 2 ago. They kind of gave them a TV shot and they lost. So I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, they're kind of
Breezango. I don't think they're gonna. They haven't been taken really seriously ever, because their whole point in the main roster is fashion police or whatever.
Oh, so got over.
It did get over, but it's NXT, and they're trying to get a more serious character going out. I mean, it's I don't know. I like Tyler Breeze alone. Fandango, I've never really
never a big fan of Johnny Curtis.
Well, I've never taken him seriously as Fandango because he's always just dancing or being fashion police. So I've always wanted Johnny Curtis to be back to see how he would be, because he's a great wrestler. So I mean, I think Legado. Legado. I think Legado will get it because
that's odd though.
I'm liking their stuff.
Yeah, but it's it's 2 heel teams. You're gonna have a heel team chase the heel champions.
Who's the contenders for this show? Is it for the what's it called, the tag team titles?
Tag team titles aren't on the card.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Their tag division is just. I mean, from you go back 6 months, it was really good. Their tag division right now is very, very thin.
Imperium has never had a program going into 2 straight takeovers. They've been champions when In Your House came by. They've been champions when 30 has come, which is coming tomorrow, and they have been excluded from the card both times now. So the tag titles haven't even been making takeover shows lately.
No offense to the 3 teams on the pre-show, but that's probably whoever wins is probably the second best team behind Imperium, which is saying a lot about their tag division.
Well, I personally think Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch are a great team.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, Gabe, I think they're going to win. Oni Lorcan has been trending upwards over the last couple weeks.
Has.
Kind of.
So, yeah. Well, no, I mean social media-wise.
Well,
really?
He's always socially active, doing silly stuff like, so-and-so kicked my ass on television tonight.
Yeah, he was trending a couple weeks ago on Twitter for something, and then he was trending when he took on Kross. People said that they liked the way he came in. So just trending like that, I would probably lean towards them winning the match.
I think they should win the match, and I will go with them only for one thing, because Lorcan and Burch as a team could work really well with Imperium on an episode of NXT, and they can deliver a great match on television for 1 week. So it's only because of their ability and the fact that I guess they're baby faces, because Legado del Fantasma is getting pushed, and Santos Escobar and them are getting a lot of TV time, but they're heels. And as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure Imperium are heel tag team champs, so you're gonna have it. I don't think they would do heel versus heel team. So and Breezango had their shot a month ago or 2, and they lost. So why nobody's gonna believe them if they get another shot again? Whereas at least with Lorcan and Burch, people probably won't think that they'll win, but at least they haven't just challenged on television and lost and are getting another shot like Breezango. At least the Lorcan and Burch versus Imperium matchup would be a fresh match to do on USA. So I'll go with them just on the fact that like it's like trying to think analytically for booking, and it's like I gotta take out Phantasma because they're heels. I gotta take out Breezango because they just got a shot on television and lost, and if they win again, nobody's gonna buy it. So it's like you by de facto have Lorcan and Birch, who haven't got a tag team title shot on TV this year yet, and they're also happen to be a babyface team, so I'm just kind of going with them. You know what I mean?
And they're great workers. Them and Imperium would have, honestly, really
yeah, it would be a
great
great TV match because we all know that they're not going to build it to the next takeover. It'll happen on USA Network at some time in September or whatever. But it'll be a great match, and they're the only two that I can really see winning this thing on the pre-show.
Okay, so with Breezango already having a shot and they lost, right? So,
yeah, like a month and a half ago, yeah.
So yeah, they don't do heel versus heel. So yeah, I was gonna say Breezango, but I didn't know that they already had a shot. So they wouldn't do that again, other than like maybe later down the line if there's a story. But I guess it'll be Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
Like just with how the lineup is, it's the only team that makes sense. So watch it. Yeah. So watch they'll actually book Breezango to win on the pre-show, guaranteed. And anyway, so that's the pre-show. I will be watching it because I got to test my Fire Stick stream because it's iffy at times, but then sometimes it works perfect. Because if it starts really freezing through the half-hour pre-show, I'll know I got to find something else. But if it works fine, then I know it's going to work good for the rest of it. So I will try and watch this match, and I'll probably be the only one able to review it because I know you boys ain't too big on watching them fucking pre-shows, and I don't blame you. It's not like a lot happens.
I'll definitely watch it tomorrow for sure.
Oh, really? You're gonna watch the pre-show? I'm shocked about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to see who's gonna be number one contender. I want to see what kind of match it's gonna be.
I'll pop in. Yeah, I'd like to watch too.
And to me, if it's a really good pre-show match, that's just gonna up the ante for the main show, which is
true. It's true. It'll set the standard. And now we're gonna go into the main card. So. This is where I butcher the actual match order because I always get it wrong. I think of how it's I always structure it the way I think they're going to do it, and they always do it in a completely different
I want to see your first match.
I'm going to go with
never get the structure right.
I'll never get it right, but at least
everywhere.
Hey, at least you could give me credit for like trying to think it, even if it's fucking wrong every podcast. I'm going with the ladder match for the opener.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the vacant NXT North American Championship ladder match. So what happened in the lead into this was Keith Lee just decided that somebody else needs to hold the secondary title. So he's like, I'm going to give somebody else a shot to win this belt because that's what I'm going to do. And he let Regal vacate it, and he stripped himself of his own championship to let somebody else have a shot at it. If I were him, I would have kept that fucking thing, you know, especially with what's happening to him later on the show, and we'll get to that. But he gave it away, and they decided to do a bunch of triple threat qualifiers leading up to the actual takeover. So, surprisingly, Bronson Reed was the first man to qualify for this match, and he beat Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano in a triple threat match, and he pinned Roddy to qualify. So then after that, Dexter Lumis was originally the second man to qualify, and he made Timothy Thatcher pass out. And Finn Balor was also involved in that triple threat. But
what?
I'm not even kidding.
Thatcher?
I'm not even kidding you, dude.
That's BS.
Well, like I told Brady when it happened, Gabe, I said, you know what? The way they put him in the match and then he got injured and they had to take him out, that would have been my pick to win. The way he's been scheduled on NXT lately, I think they're going to try to make a big start of him, but unfortunately
he's hurt.
Got injured.
So he got hurt in that triple threat, so he got scrapped immediately upon being in it. So he got taken out. So then they went along with the third qualifying match, which ended up being the second. But Damian Priest defeated Ridge Holland. He didn't get pinned, but who else was in that match with Priest? I can't remember who else was in that match. So let me just look it up here real quick. Oh yes, Oni Lorcan was who Priest pinned, and then Ridge Holland was the third guy who didn't get beaten. So Priest qualified. Then after that, there was another triple threat: Cameron Grimes against Kushida and a mystery third opponent, who ended up being none other than the Velveteen Dream, despite all the drama that's gone on with him. I'm actually quite surprised that he came back and is now on the card, and we'll get to him very soon. So, due to Dexter Lumis getting hurt, I believe there was only going to be one redemption spot But with him getting hurt, it opened up 2. So they did 2 singles matches with the guys who never got pinned or submitted. So Johnny Gargano took on Ridge Holland, the NXT UK talent, who's had 2 televised matches on USA. So he won, nearly died in the match and landed on his neck bad. But, like, at least he didn't get, like, actually severely hurt. They stopped it. Then they proceeded to retape it. And I guess he was fine to go through it and do the end segment there. And then, lastly, Finn Balor, who didn't get submitted in the Thatcher triple threat with Dexter Lumis, got another shot. And he took on Velveteen Dream, who didn't get pinned when Grimes qualified. And Dream, due to a distraction from Timothy Thatcher, ended up winning and being the last man to qualify. So, being taken off TV for months, I thought it was due to the scandals that have been involved with him, but allegedly it was due to a car accident. So says Triple H. But here he just comes back and he's qualified for this card. The last guy to qualify for the match. I don't know about that. I don't know if that sets a good example during this Me Too movement or the Speak Out movement. Yeah, are any of you aware of the Velveteen drama?
I mean, I've known it for, I guess, since when it first happened, but, like, I didn't think it would, like, come back, like,
Well,
I don't know. It wasn't a big deal since, I guess, when it first came up. So I don't know why it's still, relevant. I feel like it should be taken care of as soon as possible, not, like, later on. So that's just weird on WWE's end.
My thing is, if you go to Impact's case, Impact released Michael Elgin. He was in a bunch of claims. He hasn't wrestled since then. Right? He hasn't wrestled on any other wrestling promotion since he got released by Impact. They brought Dream back, so obviously something cleared up where they thought, okay, he's innocent. We're going to put him back on TV. Because Triple H is not a dumb guy, and he's not going to put somebody back on TV that still has an ongoing case or an ongoing accusation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess he must have been innocent or they found nothing about it. I was just like, I don't know. I guess he must be innocent or something. I don't know. I guess you're always innocent until proven guilty. But
exactly, yeah.
He was never charged. There's never been any Patrick Clark court dates or anything like that. So I guess it's all water under the bridge. But I think he's kind of tarnished his spot a bit with the boys in the back and all that.
I don't think so, right? Because if you guys, I don't know if Gabe, if you watch hockey, and I know Brady and you do, but remember a couple years ago. Or a few, actually, probably 5-6 years ago. But remember, Brady, when Patrick Kane got that accusation against him?
Very vaguely. Vaguely.
Okay. He went off. Everybody had all this stuff to say about him. Like, oh, you know what? I never thought he would do that, but I have no respect for him. And then a couple months down the road, they actually found out the girl that accused him was just doing it to get money out of him because he got a new big contract. And he was actually innocent. So to me, I don't think it's tarnished. If it comes out that he is guilty, yeah, I think he would be tarnished and he'd probably get released. But until, like you said, until he's proven guilty, if that is the case, I don't think he's tarnished in the back room.
Yeah, I agree with that because I remember there was a big YouTube drama with this guy named Pro Jared. Like,
oh, God,
I'm not gonna lie,
stuff.
I kind of didn't like him ever since like his whole drama came up. Yep. And then he came out with his like side because he's been like quiet for the longest time. And even his closest friends tried defending him, but all the people just kept burying them. And then he finally came out and said, "Hey, this is my side. Hey, it's your choice to believe it or not." And he just proved his like innocence, even though the phrasing is innocence until proven guilty. Yeah. Now with today and the whole Me Too, Speak Out technology like era, you're always guilty until proven innocent.
Well, look at the Enzo Amore thing. He got released because of something like that, and I think 3 months after he got released, the girl came out and said, "No, I was just trying to chase him for money." He actually never did that. He would never do that. He's a super nice human being.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And she released a big thing on. So I'm not saying that whoever the girl is probably just doing this because Velveteen Dream's probably a really big star in NXT right now, and probably later on if he goes up to the main roster. But I don't think Triple H would bring him back knowing that there's still a case out there.
Exactly. And NXT is like one of the, flagship brands of WWE, which Vince is always like seeing everything. So if he, if he saw, I guess, someone who's guilty, obviously, wrestle for his like brand, he wouldn't want that. So obviously, with Triple H letting him on NXT, it's it's clear that Vince and Triple H are saying like, yeah,
Yeah,
Velveteen
exactly.
Dream is innocent until there's something, and so far there's nothing other than she said this, whatever.
So after all that discussion about Dream, regardless, he's here. He's on the Takeover card. He's challenging for the vacant North American Championship, and I think he's not going to win. I don't think either him or Gargano are going to win this match, being former champs. They had their run with that.
Really,
with those belts.
I think Gargano's gonna win it.
Really?
I don't. I think.
Yeah.
I think this was
the
done.
other three winning at all.
You don't see Priest winning? That's my pick for this match. I want Cameron Grimes to win, but I don't expect him to win at all. I would prefer that.
Yeah, I think
Priest
Grimes
is my
he's
choice
working
to win
his
this
way
thing.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not ready yet. Bronson Reed, he's not ready at all. Damian Priest, I think he's ready, but I haven't seen a match or program with him in a while, so he could win. I don't know, but I feel like Gargano, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't watched NXT in like the last 2 months, so.
Braden put a big bold dot beside that prediction.
Duly noted.
Yeah. So, Gabe, have you seen the new faction on Raw / SmackDown?
Oh, what's it called? Retribution?
Yeah. So there is rumors out there. Now, I'm not saying it's a clear source, but there's rumors that Gargano is a part of that, and that this could be his last match. This could be his swan song in NXT.
Yeah, I think there's rumors that Ciampa is like the leader.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Retribution or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's got a thing with social media disliking with the man in the main event there of SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until there's more news about Gargano and Retribution, I'm gonna just go with Gargano then.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I've read rumors that he's in there, so I'm personally not gonna go Gargano. I'm gonna, me and Braden are gonna team up on this one. I think Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think not to cut you off there. Sorry, Braden.
No, it's all good.
But I think since Gargano's in this match, I think it's gonna be probably like a Gargano Dream at the top. Gargano knock Dream off, and you think, oh, here goes Gargano, and Priest will walk up or climb up and get it, and that's your ending to Gargano in NXT.
I don't know if Gargano's done with NXT, but this match was built up on the idea of giving somebody new a chance. Yeah. They've repeated that over and over on television since Keith Lee relinquished it. Johnny and Dream are not new at that belt. They've held it before. They're there to fill up spots and be the veteran presence.
And they're going to make the match better.
Yes, that's what I mean. They're there to be the veteran presence and help it go along.
Yeah.
Priest hasn't won a singles title yet. They're clearly very high on him. And at this point, he's a lot older than I thought he was. Like, he's like late 30s. He's like 37, 38.
Yep.
You got to do something with him now. Like, he...
And his, what's it called, the last couple of weeks on NXT, who's he been feuding with? Cameron Grimes. So there's your first program right there.
And he kind of brushed up with Bronson Reed, too, a bit. And the lead up to this whole thing. So, but I think that's
what I've noticed,
guy
like,
they're
with
going
the
to put
past
the belt
couple
on.
Hello? You know what I've noticed, like, ever since I came back about NXT?
What's that?
They're trying to start that new era. Like the past couple of years always been Gargano, Ciampa, Bianca, whoever, Io, Asuka and Kairi. They're all gone now from NXT, or they're starting to leave NXT. So now they're trying to start the new breed like Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed. So I don't know who predicted Cameron Grimes, but whoever said that, I think that's a smart decision. But I'm just gonna stick with Gargano because I don't know. I want to shake things up.
I said I'd put the North American title on Grimes. If I were booking this thing, he'd be my choice to win it. But I know how Triple H and them think, and they want to push these athletic big men, it seems, these days. That's kind of, they're making it like the Haas brand with all the big guys that they've been pushing. And Priest he's been in that upper echelon a bit. And I think that's the guy they're going to go with. I'd put the belt on Cam, but You know,
Yep.
he's a small dude. He's a great wrestler. I think he's one of the unsung heroes of the pandemic era of
Yep.
NXT. He's really really come into his own, and I was even liking him before that. By the end of last year, when he had that brief little rivalry with Kushida, I thought they put on very good matches on television. I would put the North American Championship on Cameron Grimes if I was booking this thing, but I'm not. So I think
you know what, Braden? They even said that in Impact before he won the X Division title. Oh, he's too small. He's too small, even though the X Division is supposed to be high flying guys. He's too small. I don't think he has the persona to be a champion. And then they put it on him in a great Ultimate X match, and he literally made Impact trend upwards. He was their top star for a while, and then that's why WWE signed him. So I would not be surprised if he won, but I think it's between Priest and Grimes.
Yeah, it's either one of the two, but I'm still sticking with Priest to win it. So
yeah.
Because it's definitely not going to be Bronson Reed. They put him over, and they had him hold the belt up on the go-home show. That's a clear indication that you ain't winning the thing. But they do it because they can't make Bronson look like he's like the complete loser of the five. They did it to make it seem like, oh, maybe he's got a shot. But when you're standing tall with the belt on the go-home show, usually you're not the one to win on the said wrestling event. It's just the pattern and how it goes. So, yes, if I were booking, I'd have Cameron Grimes win the belt, but I'm sticking with Damian Priest to win this thing. So, yeah, we can move on now. Or is everybody good there? So me and Brandon pretty much agreeing with both our absolute picks and who we'd want. And then Gabe, you still very much sticking with Gargano to win the North American title for a second time, correct?
Yeah, I think Gargano, I feel like he could do another run, to be honest. So, that's my pick.
All right, so moving on from there, we can just kind of take a guess at what could be next. But I'm going to go with Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher to be maybe the second match on the card in the second spot. And this is interesting. So these guys had maybe two interactions. Balor attacked Thatcher after he passed out to Dexter Lumis. But I understand why this is on the card. It's more for Thatcher's sake. So for the last month or two, Timothy Thatcher has been doing these awesome vignettes where he's stretching guys in submissions. And he's teaching Thatchcan wrestling. That's his brand.
Oh, I heard about that.
He calls it Thatchcan instead of like Thatchcan. Yeah, Thatchcan style wrestling. And he stretches guys in these vignettes, and he tells them to give up and surrender and all this stuff. So they've been doing this. They've been building it up big time. So when there was a triple threat match with Lumis and Balor, I thought, well, it's obviously going to be Balor or Thatcher's going to win. Well, fuck, it ended up being Dexter Lumis who won that match. So after that, after the match was done and Thatcher had passed out to Dexter, Balor beat him up for losing. And then I thought that was just it, that because Velveteen Dream did the same thing to Kushida last week and nothing came of that. But when Balor had his last chance match against Dream, who cost him the match? It was Timothy Thatcher. So with that going on, I imagine this got booked, I guess, for both guys' sakes, since Balor is a decently big star, and they've been building Thatcher up very strong through these vignettes. And honestly, those two guys in the ring together, that could be magic if it's given a good amount of time. Like, these are both very great wrestlers.
Have a 5-star,
like just the ability of both guys.
Caliber.
Like if they click, right? Because sometimes two great workers might not have any chemistry at all. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they will end up working fine together. And, I mean, Balor can pretty much work with anybody. And Thatcher's a very, technical style wrestler. And I think, that can mesh well with Balor's more, athletic, performance style. And I think this does have quite a bit of potential, even if it has the least build out of the entire card, not counting the pre-show match, because that doesn't count. That's not even important enough to make the main Takeover card, so excluding the pre-show match, this of the main card has the least build of it all. But I'm thinking it's got to be done for Thatcher's sake. I know Balor's been winning on takeovers. I know he's been winning on takeovers. He won his return to Takeover against Matt Riddle at War Games. He beat Gargano in Portland. He beat Damian Priest at In Your House. Now this would be his fourth Takeover against Thatcher. But after building Timothy up with these Thatchcan vignettes, you make him pass out to Dexter Lumis. And so now you're going to go out there and have him lose to Balor. Well, now you're just killing the guy dead after just signing him. He's got no momentum now. You know?
This is my thing, right? You look at his last match against Damian Priest. and you look at the one against Thatcher, I think Damian Priest as of right now is probably higher on the chart as
the totem pole, as they say.
Yeah, totem pole, as he's probably more clear as a main event star before Thatcher is right now. So why wouldn't they make Priest win against Balor, right? And then have, maybe Thatcher beat him this time. I can't see him winning all those takeovers and losing to Thatcher.
I know, if Thatcher didn't pass out to Dexter Lumis, a sleeper hold, I would have less of an issue of him losing to Finn here. But you build up the guy with Thatch can. You have him beat fucking Matt Riddle on Riddle's way out.
Yeah.
And now this is his first takeover match ever. I think he needs to win more than Finn. I do. I think he needs to win more than Finn.
See, I'm going to... This ties into my main event, so I'm not going to spoil my main event, but I mean, if people listen, they obviously know who I'm going with in the main event. I think Balor, if Cole is out of it, if Cole is not going to be in the main event picture anymore, let's say Gargano and Ciampa are going to go up to the main roster. My thing is, you got Lee and Kross in the main event. Who's that other big main event star? And I don't think if Thatcher wins, he's going to go directly there. You got Priest or Grimes in the NA title picture. So my thing is, if Balor's to me, Balor should win because I think he's the next one in line for whoever wins the championship, the NXT championship between Lee and Kross.
But didn't 2 months ago almost, Brandon, didn't you say that you can't see Balor really going after the belt? He already won.
Oh, no.
You mentioned that in June.
Yeah, I said that. I don't think Balor's going to win the title, but I think he would be that next, if let's say if Lee beats Kross, he'd be the next challenger. If Kross beats Lee, he'd be the next challenger, just for them to build somebody up within that time of Balor and whoever the title holder is at that time. Their program, they build another star and move somebody up to the main event level.
I suppose so. As I said, I could see why you're going with Finn. He's won 3 straight takeovers. This would be his 4th straight takeover win if he wins, right?
Well, if he wins, what is he gonna gain? He's gonna kill Thatcher, his mobility and credibility, and Finn Balor's already a household name.
I wouldn't say he's gonna kill it, but nobody's gonna think Timothy's gonna win again after this.
But that's here's my thing, right? He beat Priest at the last takeover. Priest is in a North American title match, and you, Braden, have predicted him to win.
Yeah,
what's his name? Priest is he did show a good match though, so that's what saved his credibility. And I know Thatcher can pull off a good match because I've seen a good amount of his matches, but it's against Finn Balor and also passing out to Dexter, right? So it's just
Damian didn't have that type of ridiculous submission loss before he challenged him to takeover.
No,
and on top of that, he was winning matches on TV, and he had a good television presence by the time they paired him with Finn for that takeover anyway. He was in a much better spot going into the takeover match with Finn than Thatcher is in right now.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
He was winning matches on TV, but he was losing on takeover. So they were building him up just to break him back down to level.
And here's the thing. Thatcher is winning in vignettes, but also losing on television, and you want him to also lose on takeover? Holy fuck.
So here's the finish that I see with this match. Thatcher's going to win, and he's going to make Finn Balor pass out. Because, Finn Balor is, the extraordinary man who can do all that crap. So he's going to not tap.
Yeah, the Prince.
To make him pass out. Yeah, the Prince.
With an X for the C or whatever, however he spells it now.
I don't know why over the C. It's so weird. Out of all the letters.
Again, I understand why Brandon thinks Balor's going to win, because he's been winning at takeovers. They've been booking him to win those big matches he gets booked for. So I understand giving him a 4th straight takeover win and then keeping him in a position to where he can challenge for the main event title. I get that.
Yeah, it's not just because he's 3-0 in the last takeovers. It's just, to me, if Kross and Lee end their feud at this takeover, whoever wins, who's their next challenger?
When we get to that, I will think that it'll go on regardless. I think there's more to that rivalry than just this one-off. So when we get to that, we will discuss all that. However, I can see why you think Balor would be a favorite. I would usually go with him, but I really think booking wise, Thatcher needs the win, and usually NXT does smart stuff like that. But if they do have Timothy Thatcher lose, then they're really just squandering him on the black and gold brand. Their booking of him ever since the vignettes kind of started picking up has been questionable. Like, you're going to make a submission expert on the black and gold brand tap out to fucking... Or not even tap out, he passed out to Dexter Lumis. But you're going to have that guy who's supposed to be all about submissions lose to submission? That didn't make sense to me, man. And I think this match has to be the rehab job to undo that bullshit. So I'm going with Timothy Thatcher to win this. I could be wrong. I'm just doing it on an analytical booking thing. Like, I mean, I could have done the same thing with Grimes and said he's going to take it. But I'm also looking at it as Triple H's got to know that, like, Thatcher needs to fucking win on a big stage, man, to propel him forward. So we'll see. But Gabe, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Braden. Timothy Thatcher, he's going to, like I said, the finish is going to be him making Finn Balor pass out. So
I'm just a third wheel over here now.
Well, I mean, you're on my side for first match. But anyway,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but anyway, Finn can take the loss too. He's a big enough star that's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, he can.
It's not going to hurt him. He's got momentum. His momentum will not be halted taking one loss to good old Timothy here. I don't think. I think what's that, Brandon?
We might have to play some bets on this then. It's getting interesting.
I don't deal with money, my man.
I'm just kidding. Friendly bet.
But yeah, so Brandon, any last opinions on this match and your predictions for it?
No, I'm gonna stick with it ties into my main event, and I think Balor is gonna win. I don't think it's gonna hurt Thatcher a lot. I think they're gonna build him up. I mean, depends when we get fans back, but I think they're gonna build him up. I think he's definitely gonna be a star in the future. I think right now, Balor needs it a little bit more.
Gotcha. So anyway, after that, I guess we're gonna move on to the NXT Women's Championship match. Io Shirai defending against Dakota Kai.
This is the hardest match on the card.
Not necessarily. I don't think so.
No, not really.
You don't think so?
I think this is an easy first retention for Io. Easily. It'll be a good match. It'll be a good match. They made it more interesting. So Dakota Kai has kind of been attacking Io from behind for a few weeks, and then Dakota, due to this, was positioned to face Rhea Ripley with the #1 contendership for the women's title on the line. And so Mercedes Martinez of the Robert Stone brand ended up costing Rhea the match, and Dakota became the #1 contender to the women's title and said she was going to do it all by herself, this, that, and the other. Raquel Gonzalez was strangely pulled from TV for this month-long period, and then on the go-home show, when Io's beating the fuck out of Dakota Kai, who should come back but Raquel Gonzalez, and they double team and destroy Io, leave her laying, and that's the last thing we've seen for the build-up to this women's title match going into tomorrow night. So I figured Dakota at some point was going to get a takeover title shot after she turned heel. I just didn't really know when. It wasn't during Rhea Ripley's small time in the sunlight. I still can't believe like her momentum has just been killed due to that Charlotte thing.
Where is she? Like, I haven't heard anything about her since.
Okay, you want to know? I might as well use this time to rant about it. So, what she's been doing on NXT television is just feuding with Robert Stone and the women on his brand. So it started with Aaliyah, you're gonna be a really big feud there with Rhea Ripley against Aaliyah. But then they made it slightly more interesting by having Mercedes Martinez join the Robert Stone brand and focus.
I don't think that works.
Well, they're doing it.
Well, they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to build Mercedes Martinez into the next Baszler, into the next Rhea Ripley. She's gonna be the next dominant. She's gonna be the next dominant woman.
But with the Robert Stone brand, like, I could see her name, Chelsea Green and Aaliyah, like, that makes sense. But
yeah, I don't think she's gonna last long.
Yeah, Chelsea Green ditched Robert Stone. She said she didn't need his services anymore, and she really hasn't been seen since then.
Wow.
And so that's going on. So Rhea Ripley fucking comes into this year as women's champion. She's got all the momentum in the world. They fucking have Charlotte win the Royal Rumble, feud with her, take the belt off her, kill her momentum. They give a triple threat where they decide, well, we're going to finally give Io a time in the sun. They don't even have Io pin Charlotte. They have her pin Rhea. And then Rhea's just out of the title picture after a brief little run. And she got fucked hard this year, man. Bad. I think.
You think she pissed someone off?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just, I don't know. Just it was just this experiment with Charlotte where that's all they seen, and I don't know. It worked out for the worst for Rhea Ripley, and she
well my thing is
if
she's feuding with Mercedes Martinez, in my opinion, I think she's the next dominant female in NXT.
Well, that means Rhea's gonna put her over in the end, so that's another loss for her. So she's pretty much
done. But she's gonna put her over because she's. I can't believe she hasn't been called up yet, but I think any time now, man.
I would hope so.
I really do.
Because that's the only thing. Because in NXT, she's dead in the water, man. In NXT, she's dead in the water.
You look at SmackDown right now, and I mean, you have Asuka challenging Bayley for the SmackDown's women's title. They don't have anybody women-wise on SmackDown. Bayley's been through everybody, so my thing is she's got to be coming up, like very, very soon.
I guess we've been speculating that since In Your House, and she's still been on NXT television. So anyway, we shouldn't make this about the Rhea Ripley ranting about how she fucking lost all momentum and is just another gal on the roster, which sucks, but it is what it is. It's about Io and Dakota, and this is Io's first Takeover title defense. I believe it's Dakota Kai's first ever women's championship match on a Takeover as well, where at an actual Takeover event she's challenging for the belt. I could be wrong, but I don't think she has challenged for the title at a Takeover before. I know she had like a quick shot against Shayna Baszler on NXT television when she was like the plucky baby face like a couple years ago, but I don't think she's ever challenged for the belt on Takeover. But she's got her heavy Raquel Gonzalez in her corner watching her back through the match, so it's to give Io some peril that she might not retain. But I think it's probably going to be a very good match. Dakota Kai is great. Io Shirai is probably the best, one of the, if not the best, women's wrestler in the entire world. It's going to be, if not even a great match, but I see this as nothing more than just Io will pin Dakota in the end with a moonsault after a nice first Takeover title defense and go on to whoever's next, or maybe they'll continue the feud on television. I see this as an easy first title retention for Io Shirai. What say you guys?
Well, I say, I agree with you with Io. I'm just wondering who would she feud with right after for the belt?
If it's right after,
I don't think this.
You don't think it's going to last longer?
Yeah,
you think it's a complete one-off, this match? You don't think it continues after?
I mean, if it will, it's just going to be a stretch. Like, I don't know. What was the last women's title match? Women's title feud before the Charlotte reign, I guess.
Well, there was Shayna and Rhea, where Rhea won the belt. And then before that was Shayna and I guess Io would have been the last one where it went over a few takeovers and television time, which was last summer. Shayna and Io Shirai, when Io was still wearing the mask and her original babyface run, the tiger mask thing or whatever she used to wear out to the ring, if you remember that time period.
Oh yeah.
That probably would have been the last time where it stretched over a couple months.
Yeah, so because these women's matches have always been one-offs in my opinion. I don't really see this going on, to be honest. Like, when was this feud started? A couple weeks ago?
Maybe like a month and a half max. 4 or 5 weeks it's been going, I'd say.
And this is Io's first defense, so it'd be really weird to give her all that confetti and then lose it to Dakota.
Yeah, no, I do not see her losing here at all.
Okay,
and have a whole feud. So I think Io is going to take it, and then maybe the feud's going to die here because I don't really see what's more.
Here's what I'm thinking, and you both know I'm a betting man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She beat Tegan Nox clean on TV, so Tegan's not getting a shot for a while. They're going to build her up more. Mia Yim and Candice LeRae for me are. I would say they're probably getting to their end of their time, I would say, in NXT. I'm not saying it's going to be over soon, but I think they're more like gatekeepers, if you will, right now for the roster. This has upset written all over it, but the only reason I'm going to say Dakota Kai is so they can stretch out the feud because there's nobody else. There's nobody else in line. Like, I'm going to say she's not going to win clean because she's got Raquel Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to win dirty, and it's going to be a distraction or what, and then it's going to cause a low blow, and she's going to hit her finish. and it's going to continue out till probably, I would probably say maybe next Takeover, or it'll end just before next Takeover.
I was gonna say, you think they stretch the thing out to November? Jesus, that's a long time.
That's gonna be, yeah.
Well, I'd probably say, oh man, if they do stretch it out, I'd probably say end of September at the earliest. It'll end.
That I can buy.
But the only reason I think Dakota wins is because they're gonna try to look for somebody new, and I think that new is probably Mercedes Martinez.
Well, then you need a babyface to. Why would it be heel versus heel? That would mean Io should retain.
No. My thing is Dakota Kai is gonna win, right? She's the heel.
Yeah.
And then Io's gonna take it back on television.
Oh. So you think they should hot potato shit? They've been kind of.
Yeah, just to stretch it out. Because if she wins clean over Dakota Kai, what do you do for the next 2.5 months up to the next Takeover? Who's she gonna face?
Okay, well, it just depends on the booking for the finish. Like, if it's a malfunction at the junction between Dakota and Raquel, you can have the heel say, well, my own bodyguard kind of cost me, or like, oh, you got lucky. And then you can bait the babyface into defending the title again. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there are ways around it, but I get your point. It's just like that the women's title very rarely changes hands a lot. That's a title in NXT that really doesn't bounce a lot. I think there've been like 9 or 10 champions total. Like it's the title that changed hands the least out of all the NXT belts. So,
yeah, but look.
That is true.
Look at the people that have had it, right? They've built them up and made them dominate, right? Baszler, when I don't know if it was her first or second title reign.
Her second title reign was the dominant one.
Yeah, she had 6-7 months of it, and then she did drop it, and they played hot potato for a bit, and then she got it back. So I don't see. I love Io Shirai, and you guys know how much I like her.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think she's the, because the heel's got to be the most dominant champion. I don't think she's a babyface.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna put Io Shirai over as a Baszler or Asuka, in that sense. I think they're gonna probably. I'm not saying it's Martinez, but they're gonna create some heel and somebody that is gonna be there for a while. So that's why I think it's going to go back and forth between her and Dakota over the next month or two.
It's just like heels always have long range. You got to give the babyface something sometime, man. Like it's like just you can have a good babyface reign too, dude.
If Io was doing the heel thing like she was before she actually won the title and changed the babyface, I would have said, yeah, here the run for her title reign is going to be really long, but I can't see it as a babyface. I think maybe she'll lose, and if she does turn heel again, I think she'll have a longer reign. But as a babyface, I don't see her having a long reign.
I beg to differ. I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
What say you, Gabe, on your analysis of this here match?
I mean, it's just a simple title defense in my opinion. So there's nothing really much for me to talk about. Just nice and
echo
sweet,
my opinion, right?
Yeah, everything that you said, Braden. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the card. So,
I mean, but it should be
Io's first defense too. So it's definitely her match for the win.
You got to give me a little credit because I did call the finish at NXT in your house.
Oh yeah, no, I also called it too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I was the one who was negative about them giving the belt to Shirai. So now I'm actually saying, well, maybe they're going to give her a couple of takeover title defenses. Maybe she'll retain at a couple big events.
Yeah.
As a conquering babyface would be nice.
I just think they're going to hot potato it. I mean, I'm not saying she's not going to have a long reign. I'm just saying she's going to lose at this takeover, but she'll continue in the future to be the title holder till probably the next takeover. But I think she'll drop it and then win it back on TV.
Yeah, you think they're gonna Nakamura her a bit? That's what they did with Nakamura. They had him win the belt, and then he would lose it, and then he would win it back on TV, and then he would lose it again.
Yeah, they do that with babyface a lot. With a strong heel, they really don't. So
it's ridiculous. They got to give babyface something on this fucking brand, man. Like Jesus. Anyway, so that's that match. I'm sticking with Io to get a successful first takeover title defense. The match should be very good to great. Both ladies work very hard. They know what they're doing. It should be something to see for sure. Again, let's go over Balor and Thatcher. Probably has a lot of potential if it's a singles bout that's going to go long, and they give both guys a lot of time. And the ladder match is guaranteed to get a decent amount of time. And with everybody in that match, I expect something great as well. So now moving on to something that could be great, but could be all kinds of, I don't even know what to expect. Adam Cole is taking on Pat McAfee in a singles match.
I don't know about this. I'm really, really confused. Like,
Okay, so let me break it down for you. Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so Adam Cole, right after losing the NXT title to Keith Lee, was invited on Pat McAfee's radio show or YouTube show. And in said interview, McAfee was poking the bear and talking about how Adam's success only comes from Undisputed Era, how, yeah, he reigned for a long time, but it was through cheating and underhooked tactics and this and that and the other, and said that he was lucky to get a push because he was small. He's a small little dude. And after all this shit of talking shit about him as his heel character, and then I guess about his size, Cole legitimately got up, it seemed, broke the microphone, cussed out McAfee on the show, tell him to, fuck you, fuck this, blah, 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 yelling at him, pushed one of the other personnel on the show on his way out and just stormed out of the building. Now, again, it was very convincing that Adam got legitimately angry about being called tiny. I could see why that would push a nerve. And people were kind of wondering if it was legitimate or a storyline. Because people were like, "There's no way."
Of course, it's a storyline.
Well, no,
but
people were, yeah, of course it ended up being that, as we would find out on NXT television. But we didn't think WWE would sign off on Adam Cole f-bombing a million times and breaking a microphone and storming out
he dropped
multiple
F-bombs?
Multiple f-bombs,
Gosh,
dude. Multiple
what?
f-bombs. So then
and it's on the Pat McAfee show, where I've watched a couple of his episodes, and there's not a lot of swearing, so it's like a well-respected podcast.
Yeah, so people were just like, WWE
crap.
would never sign off on a bunch of f-bombs. This has to be real. But then they brought Pat to NXT, and they did like a making up between him and Adam Cole for storyline purposes. And then you figured, okay, well, they're using Pat on TV now, so it must be building to something. And the original rumor was maybe it's going to build to a match between the two of them at TakeOver 30. Because they also highlighted where Pat did his babyface predictions and shit, and how he would have run-ins with Cole over the years, and how they'd butt heads and all that stuff. And then Pat gets brought to an edition of NXT where allegedly he made up with Adam Cole before the show was taped or whatever. And then Pat's talking shit to Undisputed Era, who are out having a tag team title match against Imperium. And Adam goes over and they have a big confrontation, and this distracts O'Reilly and Fish, and they end up losing the tag title match to Imperium. Imperium retain the belts, and then Cole and McAfee start blabbering at each other and all that. And then a scuffle breaks out. Adam's hands are held behind his back, and then Pat punts his head like he would punt a football and knocked Adam Cole out cold. And they have the EMTs check Cole, and McAfee is thrown out of the building by security, and it's this big deal. Then a few weeks later, Adam Cole comes out and just kind of does a big burial of McAfee and dares him to show up on the Go Home show, which just happened this week. And then the Go Home show happened, and both guys, again, McAfee's surrounded by his football cronies, and Adam Cole's out there with Undisputed Era, and then they have their bodyguards of sorts leave, and it's just the two of them in the ring. And McAfee basically is the heel to the internet wrestling community, but I guess a babyface to football fans. It's the weirdest dichotomy ever. Because he's he was talking about I'm gonna beat you, and the internet wrestling community is gonna have no thing to do but look up at me and know that a first timer beat you, and you're gonna go down, and all this. They're using smart terms here, dude. McAfee was trying to be a heel to the smart fans that are gonna cheer for Adam Cole. It's the weirdest thing. But Adam Cole, before he cut a promo challenging McAfee to meet him on this week's show, they beat up fucking Killian Dane and whoever Killian Dane was facing. I think it was Oney Lorcan, actually. And they beat these guys down in Disputed Era, so Adam Cole could cut a promo. I'm like, okay, if I was really trying to position Adam Cole as the babyface in this thing, I wouldn't have had him beat up two competitors for fucking no reason with his cronies. Aren't we supposed to be cheering for this guy? He's the one who's being bullied and called small and getting kicked in the head. What's he doing attacking NXT personnel from behind? Who the fuck am I supposed to be cheering for here? But I think I'm supposed to be cheering for Adam Cole. I think he's supposed to be the good guy that the wrestling fans are supposed to side for, because you're supposed to say, fuck you, Pat, you're an outsider getting a shot because you're, a D-list celebrity, I guess. That's how I'm interpreting this whole thing. They must have a lot of faith in Adam Cole, because is this McAfee's first pro match, like Dominic? Is this the first time he's ever wrestling?
No.
Okay, thank God for that.
No.
He's had matches like on the independent circuit, or like
I think he and Dominic also had pro matches.
Dominic
he's
hasn't. Dominic hasn't.
No.
He's trained, but he's never had a pro match.
Yeah, he's been with the WWE since 2015. He's just been training for about like 5 years.
Yeah, but has he had a match?
But he's only been training.
Has he only been...
Dominic, no, but McAfee, yes, on the Indies, and then
Okay.
he was almost like, oh man, I don't want to compare him to Riddle, but he was always like, football player turned wrestler, and they were like, oh, he's pretty good for an ex-punter, and then they signed him, and he's supposedly been training at the Performance Center since 2016. He hasn't. Well, he came on TV, 2018?
I can't find anything about him being a wrestler in the Indies for Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I don't think it was a lot. I think it was maybe like 1 or 2 matches he had.
It says that he showed up for like some WWE stuff, like commentating and other stuff, even showing up in the crowd, but not wrestling in the Indies.
Yeah, it was on. I was actually on the Score app one day. I was searching through it and said ex-punter McAfee has first wrestling match, and then I think a week later WWE signed him just because he looked decent.
Okay, again, he said
what's
training,
weird?
but what's that?
He called Adam Cole small, but he's like an inch taller than him. So
Well, he's got bigger arms, right? So that's all that matters, right? If he got bigger arms, that's what matters.
He's a big boy. His quads are the size of probably Adam Cole's body.
His arms are definitely huge too. Like he may not be that much taller than Cole, but as far as muscle mass goes, he's got more. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Like I'm the biggest Adam Cole fan ever, or that there could be, and I can admit that McAfee much more muscle mass on that fucking body. But anyway, he's the jock outsider who's picking on the internet darling, and that's the kind of angle they're going for with this. So I think Adam Cole is supposed to be the guy we're supposed to cheer for. I think McAfee's the heel.
Weird.
Yeah. But am I not describing this whole thing correctly there, Brandon? You've kind of been following it a bit. Is this not like the proper interpretation?
You described it. Yeah, you described it correctly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think it's going to be. I want to say people think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be better than the regular WWE gimmick match where it's like Shaq versus Big Show or something like that. It's going to be a little bit better than that, but I'd probably say it's probably the shortest match of the night. I don't even think it goes seven minutes.
I can't imagine this thing going long unless they have like a whole ton of faith in Adam Cole as a worker to really bring out something out of McAfee here. This is McAfee's first ever televised WWE match.
Yeah. And you know what?
Actually, it's his first probably televised match ever in his whole life.
Exactly.
So,
and the only reason they put this on the card is because they want to keep Adam Cole relevant and keep him in the picture, I think. They don't want him sitting out a TakeOver.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I like after this, what does he do?
Yeah.
After this, what does he do? Is
McAfee signed with WWE?
Yeah, he's been signed since 2016.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. 2016 or 17. I'm not sure on the date, but he's been signed for a couple years. He was signed for a year before he went on TV at least, and he was training in the Performance Center. And then they brought him on TV because they liked his podcast and his analysis on football and that, and they were like, "Oh, you'd be good for like the NXT booth or the pre-show booth and that."
Yeah, predictions, guys. This is a really interesting
feud.
Okay,
so he like Brandon said that the Shirai versus Dakota match is difficult. I find this match here and what we're going to talk about after probably the most difficult to pick.
Really? I think this is the easiest. I think this is the easiest one on the card.
Really? You're that confident in Adam Cole winning, eh?
I'm kind of confused because
McAfee gets a good flurry. People, it's going to be like one of those UFC fights where it's a big favorite against it's David versus Goliath, and David's gonna get the early flurry, and you're gonna think, oh my gosh, they're gonna make him win, and then it's gonna be a beatdown from there, and then after the match, UE's gonna come down, and they're just gonna beat him down, and that's probably how it's gonna end.
After he loses?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I didn't hear about a finish there. I just heard by the
end,
the Undisputed Era would come out.
He'll probably finish him with, I'd say, 2 of his finishers, not 1, 2, because it's Adam Cole and he's going to try to make a statement, and then UE's going to come out and maybe stomp on him in a bit, and a bunch of referees going to come out and stop it, and that's how it'll end.
I don't know. I could see just WWE booking, and I know it's NXT, so it's a little different because it's Triple H, but I could see them wanting the outsider to win a match so that if they bring them back, they have more marquee value because they've won.
Yeah, but my thing is, right, he lost to Keith Lee. He never got a rematch, right?
Well, not yet.
No, not yet, exactly.
Not yet, yeah.
Imagine losing to Keith Lee in a great match and then losing to an effing punter.
I hear you,
that would kill him.
Imagine being the longest reigning NXT champion and then facing an ex-football star being booked for this match after your title reign.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason he's booked because Triple H and that creative team back there was like, hey, we don't have anything for Cole right now. Let's do this. Let's just keep him relevant and on the card. Yeah, if he loses...
I just think this shows the state of affairs that he just needs to, like... I know you don't want him to go to Raw or SmackDown, but I feel like he's got to go at some point soon.
Oh, he's got to go.
He's done everything. He's done everything. What more is there in NXT to do for Adam Cole? Not much.
Honestly, since we're one match away from it, I honestly think he wins, and then he works his way into, like you said, Lee and Kross are going to be feuding for a bit. I think he works his way into that, and if there's a triple threat match at some point, he'll probably get pinned again. And then that's his, last goodbye to NXT. But no. I mean, if he loses to McAfee, I will run naked in my neighborhood.
Okay, I'm only gonna go with Adam Cole for one reason.
Yeah.
And you know what that is? Since I'm choosing Adam Cole to be the babyface in this affair to the fans.
Yep.
I don't think these two big marquee matches, if they do end up, if Cole and McAfee is in fact the co-main, and the NXT title match is the main event, I don't see two villains winning back-to-back like that. You got to give some sort of, you got to have a babyface win one thing. So I am going to go with the babyface here, and I'll explain why it may not be a double babyface thing come the main event. So I'm going to go with Adam Cole beating Pat McAfee because you got to have some people going home happy. Say Priest or Grimes win the ladder match. So we said Priest. So that's a heel winning in the opener. For me, if Thatcher does win against Balor, he's more of the heel than Balor is in that match. That'd be another heel. EO retaining the belt. That's a babyface win. So that's one. But you got to have at least one more. And I see Adam Cole, the babyface for the internet wrestling fans, winning the match over the villainous outsider to at least give another fans or go home happy type, or leave the television happy. They're not going home, so leave the television happy from their homes and all that sort of stuff as we go to the main event. If this is even in the co-main spot, but since it does feature McAfee in his first ever match, it might have some intrigue and they might put it in that second to last spot. That's why I have it listed here. Again, I can be completely wrong about the card layout when this show airs tomorrow night, but I will go with Adam Cole on virtue of who I'm going to discuss might win the main event. What about you guys?
Yeah, mine's Adam Cole, and there doesn't have to be a reason behind it. It's going to be that easy for him.
Gabe, how about you?
Damn, because I'm not gonna lie, the first time I heard about this really weird feud was
it is weird.
So as soon as I graduated military training, I didn't really looked into wrestling immediately into my phone. I just wanted to see all who's contacted me and everything. And as I was doing that, the person next to me was catching up on sports, and I overheard on the news they're talking about Pat McAfee and a football player, basically, yeah. And then I hear Adam Cole and I hear NXT match. I'm like, wait, hold on, what's going on? So I feel like it's getting a lot of views, not just wrestling fans, of course, through the football fans as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it's cross promotion, right? So it's going to do that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it's
the celebrity
it's gonna
match.
Be, yeah, and in order to get more viewers, of course, they always got the celebrity to win. So I'm
Usually
just
that's how
saying
it
if
goes, but like the celebrity in this case is the heel.
so
So
what I'm thinking, well, you told me that Pat McAfee has his own like posse, like that one time.
they on
That's
this go home show he walked out with a bunch of what they claimed on commentary were a bunch of his football buddies.
yeah.
Football buddies.
One guy actually. I think it was the guy on the left of him. If you seen it from a picture standpoint, I think he was his teammate. I think he was his a placeholder when he kicked the ball.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is let's see, Mojo Rawley is like still signed, right? If I'm
believe
correct.
so. I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
he's,
So what I'm thinking, I'm gonna do a whole stretch right now. They're gonna keep the feud going because this is what's getting people to watch, I guess, wrestling during this whole pandemic, in my opinion.
Well, watching
Specifically NXT.
Specifically,
Yeah,
NXT.
specifically NXT. Yeah. So I think Pat McAfee is gonna win because I heard of this feud
really?
from someone else, from someone who doesn't even watch wrestling. He's like, "Oh man, is Pat McAfee gonna
Believe
fight
me,
this other
if
guy?"
I didn't have my prediction in the main event where I'm going to go with it, I'd be going with McAfee too to be the celebrity to get the win on the big show because they usually always do that. That's usually WWE booking 101. So I agree. I agree with both of you. I find this again. These last two matches we're going to talk about here, this one what we're going to talk about next, are the two hardest for me to predict on this card.
Sir.
But I'm barely going with Adam Cole just because I think a babyface needs to win, and maybe he's the more likely one.
So what I'm thinking is they're going to do something with Cole, obviously. What I'm thinking is they're going to keep the feud going. But after that, he's probably a drastic turn, I think, would be like breaking up, leaving the Undisputed Era. That's something. But that's what I'm thinking right now. But for now, I'm going to just say they're going to keep the feud going with Pat McAfee and him because it's drawing people.
God,
It has 1 million views on YouTube where Adam Cole like cursed him out. So this is really getting traction more than I thought when I first heard about it. So I'm gonna say to keep the momentum and publicity for those people who don't really watch wrestling and they want to keep the eyes on NXT during this COVID crisis, it's gonna be Pat McAfee in my opinion. So
not a bad
that's
prediction.
my prediction.
WWE Booking 101 usually says that
the
big celebrity gets the win against the wrestler so that they can become more valuable if they book them again. So it's like I understand it, but due to the fact that we have a main event to talk about here, I think it's going to be the main event anyway. I mean, I can't imagine anything else being in the main event spot.
No, it's definitely
I can't imagine anything else being in the main event spot. But due to that, due to what I'm going to say for that, I'm going to go with Adam Cole by virtue. But I'm not going to be surprised if McAfee does get the debut WWE victory. I will not be surprised about that. You know what I mean? I will not be surprised at all. Just like when I said with Thatcher and Balor. I really think Thatcher needs the win. Like, logically, it should go to him. But I would not be surprised at all if Finn Balor won his 4th straight takeover. So I'm going to go with Adam Cole for my personal prediction. But I would not be surprised if they book Pat to win this bout. I totally agree with you, Gabe, on that front. So is that pretty much all we need to say about this D-list celebrity versus wrestler match? Or
yep.
Or so we can move on to the main event because this is probably going to be an even bigger discussion because in my opinion, this main event for the NXT Championship between Keith Lee defending the belt against Karrion Kross is the hardest match on this card to predict, in my opinion. Out of all the other matches, this one is the hardest. And why is it the hardest, Lee, my fine gentleman? Well, it's this reason. Both men have been booked amazingly and have tons of momentum, and there's not two men on either allegiance. So Keith Lee, the strongest booked babyface of the entire brand. Karrion Kross, the strongest booked heel of the entire brand. And now
in like finally 4 months or so.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Like
4 months, right?
Well, Keith has been building up since like Survivor Series. He's been on a roll.
Oh yeah, he's had time.
Yeah,
but Karrion Kross has had 4 months or so.
He debuted in what, April or May or something like that. It's crazy.
But yeah, before In Your House. So
yeah, he debuted. He made an Easter egg appearance during the one final beat, and then he actually debuted attacking Ciampa shortly thereafter. So. Anyway, they are now heading for a collision course for the main event title, that being the NXT Championship. So Keith just won that belt a month and a half ago, beating Adam Cole in a winner-take-all match to become the new champion. Karrion Kross had sent, hourglasses and broken clocks and this, that, and the other to Adam Cole, and then afterwards even Keith Lee when he won the belt. So he's been eyeing the championship from afar for like at least, I don't know, I want to say 2 months now. He's kind of been eyeing it and showing that he wants that main event title. So anyway, what happened was in Karrion Kross did a thing where he sent Scarlett to show a broken clock to Keith Lee, I guess to show that your time's running out. And then after that, he beat up Dominic Dijakovic backstage, and that led to a match between the two. And Kross crushed Dijakovic's head between the steps and just brutally beat him down in front of. And Keith Lee came out for support, but Kross just killed Dijak in front of Keith Lee, and Keith wanted his revenge, and he demanded that Regal give him an NXT title match with Karrion Kross, and Regal did agree. And Keith handed a contract for Scarlett to give to Kross to sign. Kross signed it, and then Keith opens it, and what happens? But a big fireball comes out and burns Keith Lee's face. And he's writhing in pain. Kross and Scarlett cackle like they're like villains from like a motion picture or some shit, and they're cackling, these evil, dark beings. Just they scorched the NXT champion. And then on the go-home show, there was a hype package chronicling Karrion Kross and Keith Lee's rise to the top and the building to their collision tomorrow night. Guys, if you have not seen this video package, I'm meaning you, my co-hosts, and those listening to this, if you have not seen this video package for this main event, it is must-see. It is the best NXT promo package for a title match that I think has been produced in a very, very long time. It's an A+ promo package. It's fantastic. But as I said, both guys got tons of momentum. Well, I'm pretty sure NXT doesn't do no contests. I can't imagine they're going to end this with a DQ or a fucking double count out where they protect both guys on a takeover. I mean, they never do that. To my knowledge, they don't do that for important championship matches. So somebody has to win, and somebody has to lose. So who do they go with?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it quick and simple. For who and why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be Kross.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna move. To me, I already told you guys. Keith Lee, he is bigger than NXT, and obviously Vince wants him on his shows. So especially after Royal Rumble and Survivor Series, like I'm pretty sure Vince is high on Keith Lee, so he's gonna be big on either Raw or SmackDown. So he's going to move up and make a name for himself on either or brand. That's why. And Karrion Kross, he just got to NXT, and he's here to stay for a bit longer. Keith Lee he's had his time in NXT, and he's won both belts.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first dual champion.
First guy to ever do it.
Yeah, so he's done with NXT. He's gonna move on to the main roster and kill it there. So Karrion Kross is gonna win, hands down. What say you guys?
Brandon, you go next.
Well, I mean, my predictions been 4 months ago was leading to this. I think it's gonna be match of the night, and I'm going to staple that. It's going to be match of the night. I think Kross, but I don't think it's going to be by pin. I think he's going to put Keith Lee to sleep. And,
so you actually see this thing going long?
Yeah.
Really?
I would say what? I looked on my bell the other day, and it was 7-10 on the WWE Network, so it's 3 hours. I would probably say between the if we were going by the way you put it, the ladder match to start.
I thought that was going to get the most time out of anything on the show.
Yeah, the ladder match and the main event, I'd probably say there's probably a good hour and 45.
Really? Because Kross's matches haven't gone long. He hasn't really worked long.
Yep.
It's all about getting it done quick. So you really think that's going to change here? Really?
I think it's going to change. I think Keith Lee's gonna fight out of some things and have his flurry of offense. I just think he's going to do like the big guy thing. He's going to pop out of covers quickly, Keith Lee, and the only way that Kross is going to win is by putting on his finisher, and Keith Lee not tapping out. He's going to pass out. They're going to put up his arm. It's going to fall back down, and that's how he's going to win the match. But I would probably say, man, I'd probably go between 20 minutes and half an hour they get.
I don't know. I could see this thing being done in like 10 minutes or less.
Really?
I don't want it to go that way. I'm just going on based on how Karrion has been presented on television leading up to this, right? Like, destroyed Ciampa, destroyed Birch, destroyed Lorcan, destroyed everybody within, you know. I know some of those guys are not big marquee names, and it's not for a title, but like Tommaso Ciampa, that's a pretty big name in NXT.
Yeah.
He did not last 10 minutes with Karrion Kross. Now, granted, Keith Lee's much bigger. So maybe the story of the match will be, since Kross can't quite manhandle him like these other guys, that may make the match go longer based on that psychology, which is true. So maybe with the fact that he's working with a guy who's actually bigger than him, the match layout may have to be different and it'll go long.
I think so.
So I'm thinking that it's because he's working with Keith Lee that Karrion could end up having probably the longest match of his NXT career to date. But I agree with you guys. Keith Lee, he got put over strong. He won both belts. He ended the Undisputed Era's prophecy 2 times over by defeating Roddy and then, of course, Adam Cole himself. Nobody else has won both belts simultaneously. He has that to his record. He's had a hell of a run. I guess, but like Kross, I don't feel if Keith Lee beats him, I think the damage to Kross is worse than the damage that could happen to Keith, because Keith's win was such a monumental thing that if he loses, I don't think he suffers from loss as bad as Kross would if Kross loses. Because Kross is more fresh and has the more recent momentum as the heel. And the heel always takes a bigger fucking blow when they lose than the babyface does, I find, generally speaking. If you're a dominant heel and you take that fucking one babyface loss after a big time of momentum and tons of wins, you're never the same again. So I feel that they got to have Karrion win that belt as an undefeated man. Rather than a guy who took a loss and then winning it later. He's got to win it while he's never been pinned or submitted. He's got to do it.
Well, my prediction was the man's going to go undefeated for a long time. He's going to be the Oscar when they had Oscar do it. He's going to be something like that. He's not going to lose for a long time.
Again, I would have definitely, if Keith kept the North American title, I'd be even more sure of Karrion winning. But they made him vacate that belt, so he literally, if he does end up losing tomorrow night to Kross, he literally has no belts anymore. He gave one away, and then he lost the other one. So if he does lose, I really hope for his sake he's going to Raw or SmackDown. Honestly. Like, I hope for his sake he's going to the main roster.
Where do you think Keith Lee belongs, Raw or SmackDown?
Doesn't matter.
It's obviously going to be Raw because Vince is going to control that guy.
But,
I can see him as a SmackDown guy, but I think he'll be on Raw. But I can see him as a SmackDown, like the AJ Styles of SmackDown. I can see him become one of those.
So, Brandon, do you think he goes up right away after this loss, or do you think he lingers around in NXT aimless with no belts for a while?
I'm gonna cut that question off real quick. I think he's gonna debut at SummerSlam.
Really?
Oh, really?
That's quick. One night later after dropping the belt.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what about you, Brandon?
Yes,
Because he should go, right? Like, if he's gonna lose both belts and have nothing right after a big high of highs like that, he's got to leave NXT, right? You think?
And you know what? They're going on to the SummerSlam thing there, Gabe. I think there's going to be probably definitely one big surprise at SummerSlam. Maybe a couple more, so I don't think he'll go up. I think he lingers probably till September. I think he's going to lose, and then I think it's going to be Adam Cole 1. He's going to go, I've never had my rematch, blah blah blah, and I think it's going to go into some sort of triple threat. Or they might do Keith Lee versus Adam Cole again, and the winner gets Kross. I think he lingers, and then I think they probably call him up. They probably put him off TV for a couple weeks or so, and then they bring him up to, I think, Raw, and just in time for him to be a part of Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so. If he does, and I mean he should. I love Keith Lee, but like you got to keep Kross's heel momentum going. And you got to keep him undefeated.
Yes,
so he's got to win the belt tomorrow, and Keith can always get a rematch, and you can build up a big USA Network title rematch between the two, and you can take another 4 weeks to build it. You can have Keith get a few wins to rehab himself. You can have Kross kind of beat some schmucks with the belt around his waist. And then at the end of September or something like that, you can have them have this big rematch. And I mean, probably Kross will win again. And then after that, Keith can go to Raw or wherever, right? So I think Keith Lee, even in a loss, will get a championship rematch against Karrion Kross. I think it'll be at least a 2-match series, right? This one and then the rematch.
This is my other prediction, and I know it might be a little far-fetched, but since other than Keith Lee, they really don't have an established main event star other than Adam Cole, and like you guys said, he could be gone as well. So if Keith Lee were to lose and they continue to feud, would you not think maybe it's Lee versus Kross if they do War Games this year? If they get a bigger arena and do War Games, do you not think it might be Lee versus Kross?
Well, then you're going to you're going to spend 3 months building up the rematch clause? I wonder how
not the rematch clause, just Lee versus Kross, because it's been this big feud, and they meet at War Games, and then the next night after, you might put Keith Lee on a Survivor Series team.
I don't know. I don't see Keith. If he's going to lose the belt this early, I can't see him hanging around in NXT for another
because the whole coronavirus stuff, I just think he would be a good ratings bringer because he has some charisma that brings everyone in my opinion. That you just can't name. You just can't specify. It's Keith Lee.
Yeah, but looking forward, Raw's got to do their thing, and, what they're doing their thing with Retribution. They think that could bring in ratings. NXT's got to do the same thing, right? They're not looking at, okay, let's do Kross versus Lee. They're looking 2 takeovers ahead, I guarantee you. So for me, is if they're probably going to do War Games, I would assume, in November, even if we still have the pandemic going on in the States and there's no fans, they're going to find a way to do it. My thing is, if Lee's not there and Adam Cole is not a part of NXT, or he's not a big part of the show going forward, who is that? Who's in that War Game spot? It's Kross versus who?
Well, I guess we just got to see how it plays out.
My thing is it's either Kross versus Lee, or like Gabe said, they're going to put the Pat McAfee and Adam Cole, and they're going to extend it, and that could be McAfee and 3 NXT superstars that can't stand UE versus UE. But that's the only 2 options I can see going forward.
Or this whole McAfee thing is being done to turn Cole babyface so he can be a babyface challenger for the main event title. Maybe he gets a shot at Kross. I mean, just to fill up a spot.
Yeah.
Or the thing that you're also spacing on, and was what you were debating me and Gabe about earlier with Balor and Thatcher. Can't Balor be a filler opponent for Kross, especially if he beats Timothy?
Balor can definitely challenge Kross
at War Games.
But he's gonna challenge Kross. But you look at the last few War Games, there's been no NXT title. The main event is War Games.
That was only last year. There've been Ciampa defended against Velveteen Dream in 2018. Drew McIntyre defended against Andrade in 2017.
Yeah, but my
NXT Championship matches on the card just last year didn't, because Cole was the champion with the faction that always does War Games. That's the only reason the belt wasn't on the line.
That's my thing is, if you're looking at War Games this year and Lee and Cole go up, let's play what if Lee and Cole are on Raw or SmackDown.
I don't know if Cole goes up, man. I don't see any reason.
But
to rush him.
what would be War Games? Who would you put in War Games if it's not Kross? Right?
Well, Kross, the champion, only goes into War Games if he has a faction that does War Games. They're just gonna do Undisputed Era again, guaranteed. They've been in War Games every single goddamn year, man. That's how it goes. The champion, again, Cole was the exception because he was a member of the faction that always competes in that gimmick match every year. Kross has no allegiances with anybody. He'll just defend the title, like any other normal NXT champion would.
No,
during
but that's my
takeover.
thing. If it's UE, then it's Pat McAfee. You don't think Kross teams up with Pat McAfee?
No, I don't. I think he just defends the title against somebody like Balor or or Keith Lee again.
I will place a bet on this. The NXT title will not be defended at War Games.
Okay.
My overall prediction is War Games is going to involve Kross or Lee or McAfee and Cole. He will not defend. He'll defend on Survivor Series. They're going to put Keith Lee or Adam Cole in that title match, and they're going to display it at Survivor Series. Like they did. Like they did
I would not even be surprised if War Games isn't even a thing this year. I doubt they even do it with the fact that
that's the thing. Is it even gonna be a thing because of the virus?
Well, my thing is they moved SummerSlam to the Amway Center just because they wanted a little bit bigger arena because the Performance Center. So I can see Takeover doing that just for War Games, move into like probably a basketball arena, NHL arena, just to put on War Games. And again, it's not till November. You know, I know the States are bad, but you never know what can happen. And
States have been the worst country in the world for like over a quarter of a year now, and it's not getting any better. So
yeah, but I just think if they're gonna move they're gonna move to SummerSlam or move SummerSlam to a bigger arena just for SummerSlam. They're gonna do it for War Games, I would assume.
So here I'm gonna drop some really quick fantasy booking. Two things real quick. Keith Lee is gonna lose, and then he's gonna. I don't know, he's going to help Dominic or something at SummerSlam, whatever.
Damn.
But
well, you can
Kross,
also hold on to that thought because, I mean, you know, we got another show to predict, so don't give away too much.
But for Kross, I think the greatest like rival or challenger after Lee would be Finn Balor, and he could go demon for the first time since he turned heel.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I like that.
And that could and then that could be a very good like challenge for Kross, and if Kross beats the demon, then there is really nothing that could stop Kross.
And not to mention, not only did he when he beat the demon, which never got beat on WWE television. Whenever Finn had that paint on, he never lost, ever.
Yeah,
he only lost to Joe. That was the only time on NXT.
But did he have the paint on when? Oh, did he have the paint on in that cage match? Oh, okay, I forgot that he was painted up during that cage match.
That was the only time he lost as a demon against Joe in that steel cage match in NXT Takeover.
Well, that's so long ago that I doubt. I mean, I forgot about that. So
exactly,
you know,
that's why it would be a big deal. It's the first time Finn would be the demon after turning heel, and then it would be a monumental loss for the demon. Since
not only that, but like if Kross beats Balor, he beats like a very significant former NXT champion.
Yes, sir.
You know,
that's correct.
So I mean, that
just makes him look even more undisputed.
Yeah, as I said, whether Finn wins or loses against Thatcher tomorrow night, I think he's fine and will get a shot anyway. So whether he wins or loses,
he's definitely going to try to get gold again.
He will
after his Thatcher match.
After the Thatcher match, just to get him on the card because they didn't want to put him in the ladder match for whatever reason, and the NXT title picture's occupied. So this is just something for him to do. Like I said, I think they're going to keep Cole and McAfee going. So that's what I'm thinking. So. Anyway,
that's my prediction. It's going to be Keith Lee.
Yeah, I'd say we're all in a unanimous agreement that Karrion Kross, the big monster heel, wins the belt by the end of the main event.
Yes, sir.
Which is the only reason why I said if they put the celebrity match before it, I mean, maybe they'll do 2 heels in a row. Maybe they will, but that's why I went with Adam Cole previously, was because I see Kross winning this main event. It just makes sense, and Triple H is clearly infatuated with Kross and super high on him, and it's just that with the way the booking dictates stuff, it seems that, you know, Karrion's going to win the belt. So I would say, would you say this main event, though, is perhaps the most intriguing match on the card, given who's involved and the status of both men and the pushes that led to said match in terms of...
It's bigger than last week's UFC heavyweight fight. That's how big it is.
Yes.
It's that big.
I did hear about that, too.
It is that big. It's one of those fights where, like, the UFC pumps up, where you're like, oh my God, I don't even care about what's on the card. That main event sticks out. I'm ordering that event. It's that big, I find.
Yes, I think so too. It's a huge match, and it takes place tomorrow night, as of this recording, at 8:05 p.m., August 21st, 2020. So now that we've got all of our predictions for this here show out of the way, I'm going to leave the plug line open for my 2 comrades here. So, Gabe, if you want to go ahead, now is the time to plug whatever you might want to do.
Well, it's been a while
I
since
know.
I've been on the show. Yeah, so there's nothing really for me to plug other than if you enjoy, I guess, more of me, just head on over to YouTube and look up Nozid, Nozid. I do wrestling podcasts as well for the local wrestling independent scene in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area under Nozid Wrestling. And then my regular Nozid YouTube channel is just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff I just feel like making on YouTube. But yes, sir. Other than that, just keep watching Apron Bumps because I'll be making the most content here than my channels on YouTube. Because who knows it? Gabe knows it.
All right. It's been a while since we've heard that catchphase. That's for darn sure.
Exactly. Eh?
Brandon, you got anything to plug? Or are you going to leave me to do the old outro?
I got one thing. I'm single and ready to mingle. My number is 1-800.
Ah,
1-800 hot stud. Give me a call. No, I'm just kidding. Go
Look at that
Raptors,
guy.
and that's my plug. That's it. I got nothing.
How are the Raptors? I haven't been watching basketball.
They're up
since
3-0 series. They're gonna close out Brooklyn first round on Sunday.
Oh, damn. Good for them. En route to another
Yeah.
championship or what, bud?
I think so. I think they'll make the finals.
Anyway, you can listen to us. I'm sure you listen to this on Anchor. That's our main podcast platform for this here Apron Bum show. But you can also listen to us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Copy, RSS, and of course my personal favorite of all the platforms that we're available on. We are also available on Spotify, folks. Yes, if you have that wonderful app that plays both music and podcasts, you can listen to this sweet, sweet show on here. However, if you are watching or / listening to the video version of this podcast, which is just the match graphics and detailed images of what we're talking about overlaid through the podcast audio on my YouTube channel, that of course being youtube.com/Braster, and you dug what you heard from us three, give the channel a nice little subscribe. It's always appreciated. And until next time, folks, from me, Brandon, and Gabe, I say we're going to Spanish fly on out of here. See you next time. Or, yeah, I guess listen to us next time would be a better way to do it. So, yeah, good night, folks.